guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to do a bit of a follow-up to a case that I have covered to some extent, and when I say to some extent is because it's still ongoing. We don't have a conclusion just yet. That would be the case of Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell. If you don't know what I'm referring to, I will put it somewhere on the screen and it'll be linked down below so you can catch up. But essentially the rundown is there's a couple, their kids are missing and they've just been chilling in Hawaii for 2 months and will not cooperate with the police, which, as you can imagine, I would think is extremely suspicious. So new information has come out about them and I want to discuss it because I really am concerned about where these children are, if they're even still alive, which is a very sobering and grim reality. Before we get into this video, as you know, content like this is often demonetized, so I'd like to thank today's sponsor, Adam & Eve. Adam & Eve is America's favorite adult store. Not only does it come with discreet packaging, but they also donate 20% of their profit to help fight the spread of HIV around the world. They also have a 24/7 customer service and have 90-day no-hassle returns. If you go to adamandeve.com and use code GLARE, you'll get 50% off one item and free shipping in the US and Canada. Thank you, Adam & Eve, for sponsoring this video. So I will be referring to two different articles that cover different aspects of the new information. So the first one is from the East Idaho News and it's titled, Lori Daybell abandoned a storage unit in Rexburg full of children's items. And I will skip parts that are redundant that I've already discussed in my prior video. When Lori Vallow Daybell suddenly departed from Rexburg at the end of November, she left behind a storage unit full of children's items, photos, clothing, and other things. Daybell first visited Self Storage Plus on October 1st and signed a $53 per month rental agreement for a 10x10 unit. Surveillance cameras at the facility show Daybell and a man associated with her visited the unit 9 times in October and once in November. Often the man, who appears to be Alex Cox, Daybell's brother, came alone. Security footage shows she only came to the business by herself once, on the day she signed the contract. Over the next 2 days, she returned with a man who appears to be Cox. His silver pickup truck is observed at Self Storage Plus on camera multiple times during October. I want to pause here briefly and remind you of the timeline. These children have been allegedly missing since September. So the fact that this storage unit would be open in October is interesting timing. There's nothing wrong with having a storage unit. Obviously, that's not the point here. The fact that they signed up to get a storage unit shortly after the children went missing is what's suspicious. During one visit, a man and a woman who appear to be Daybell and Cox enter the building containing the storage unit. The man looks both ways as the woman opens the door. He quickly walks in and carries out a heavy object. It's placed in the vehicle outside and the man returns to carry out a tire while the woman closes the door. Between October 6th and October 26th, a man, presumably Cox, visits the storage unit alone 5 times. Cameras show him dropping off a variety of items, including gun cases, and then on October 28th, 2 men are seen moving bikes into the unit. Now, I'm gonna pause again. There's nothing inherently suspicious about owning a gun. Plenty of people go to the shooting range. It doesn't mean that you're guilty, okay? I own a gun for the shooting range, so I am the last person to think that means you're guilty. However, if your ex-husband was shot in the chest by your brother, and now you have this shady storage unit situation and you have guns, the whole thing just looks automatically bad. Surveillance video shows visitors to the unit would often place things inside and then remove the same items within days. The last time anyone visits the unit in October is on the 28th. Nobody comes back for nearly a month, but on November 24th, Daybell and a man are seen again on camera. They stay for 4 minutes and leave. 2 days later, on November 26th, Rexburg police went to Daybell's townhouse for a welfare check on JJ. The next day, officers served a search warrant at the home and then obtained a search warrant on the storage unit. The warrant called for officers to seize any evidence that the boy was residing at any of these residences and or evidence of foul play or the commission of a crime and or evidence of the child's current location. Inside the storage unit, officers found bikes, a scooter, winter clothing, a photo album with pictures of JJ and Tylee, sports equipment, a backpack with JJ's initials, and a jersey with Colby Ryan's, Lori Daybell's oldest son, name on it. There were blankets showing photos photos of the children. One focused on JJ and the other had pictures of Tylee. I have to say, one thing I found particularly strange is the backpack. Now, of course, maybe the backpack isn't a school backpack. Maybe it's just a casual backpack, an old backpack or whatever. Kind of hoping that the kids were just at school in another state or something and we just didn't know. But the fact that a backpack is there, I know it sounds silly, but it really made me think that something grim has happened because, like I said, I was really hoping they were just in another state and being hidden and going to school and just living regular quote-unquote lives. I just have a weird feeling. Detectives photographed everything, and in January, when Daybell's credit card was declined several times, Self Storage Plus notified the police. Workers say officers have not returned since the end of November. Due to lack of payment, the storage unit and all its contents are considered abandoned. The items are being held at the business pending the outcome of a police investigation, but will ultimately be returned to extended family members. Self Storage Plus employees have reached out to Daybell multiple times but have been unable to reach her. Managers say they're releasing video to EastIdahoNews.com from their security company Elite Service in hopes that it will help police with their timeline in events and ultimately lead to the recovery of JJ and Tylee. So that's all we have so far in terms of the storage unit. I have to say that obviously I was already suspicious as to these parents, considering they're on vacation when their children are quote-unquote missing. But this whole storage unit shit is really weird. The amount of times they visited it, the times that where they just visit it for like 4 minutes, or putting something in and taking it out the next day is a little bit weird to me. Now, maybe I'm just wrong, but I know that most of the time people use storage units when they're moving or to store stuff that they want to get rid of or sell, but it's usually not something you go to with that amount of consistency unless you go like 3 days straight because you're moving all your stuff in, and then 3 days straight because you're moving stuff out. Maybe that's just me. You can let me know if there's a scenario where it makes sense that their children's stuff would be in a storage unit. Also, I'd really want to see the footage because I really wonder what the heavy object they moved out was, because I have some grim ideas of maybe what might be in certain types of containers, but I don't want to go there because I really hope I'm not right about what I think happened to these children. Anyway, there was another article, and this one's not anything to do with a storage unit, but this one is about the oldest son, Colby. This article is from USA Today. Storage unit found, eldest son speaks out, what we know about the missing Idaho kids. So obviously I'm not going to read the storage unit parts. I'm only going to read what's really pertinent that isn't repetitive. So it says, Colby Ryan is Lori Vallow's oldest son, who this week also spoke with local media in Arizona for the first time since his siblings went missing. I feel like my mom would die for the kids, so to see this and hear it, and also be questioning why they're not found, that's where this all comes into a battle into what you think and what you feel, he told KSAZ TV in Phoenix. Colby Ryan said his mom moved abruptly from Arizona to Hawaii last year, bringing along his sister Tylee Ryan, but leaving Charles Vallow and their son Joshua. A month later, Lori Vallow returned, but the couple separated, Colby Ryan told KSAZ TV. He said when his stepfather Charles Vallow died, his mother initially told him he had a heart attack. He later found out it was a fight turned deadly, he told the TV station. No matter what happened, why was he shot in the chest? Why was he killed? That just doesn't make sense. Why did he have to die for a fight? He said in the interview. Colby Ryan told KSAZ TV that seeing his mother and Daybell together without his siblings in Hawaii struck a nerve. I'm done. I've been done the day that I saw them without the kids walking around Hawaii, he told the TV station. That was it. So that's all that's in this article. So I definitely feel like the fact that Colby is now suspicious, even though at first he wasn't necessarily, says a lot, because as much as you might have toxic family, be estranged from family, I don't think it was easy for him to address the fact that maybe his mother and his stepfather have something to do with the disappearance of his siblings. Hi, this is future me. Since I recorded this, another article has come out and it was posted on February 7th. Today it is February 8th, and it says, police recording, Daybell family refused autopsy for death related to 2 missing Idaho children. New police recordings explain what happened in the weeks following the death of Tammy Daybell. In the recording, a dispatcher reveals that the Daybell family refused an autopsy for Tammy when she first died. Idaho authorities have linked Daybell's death with the case of the 2 missing children from Idaho, 7-year-old Joshua J.J. Vallow and 17-year-old Tylee Ryan. A dispatch call released to Fox 13 from the Fremont County Attorney's Office details a 17-minute phone conversation between the detective from Gilbert, Arizona, and a dispatcher with Fremont County. There is no date or time stamped on the call. The detective calls dispatch to request information for the death of Tamara Daybell. "Oh yeah," the dispatcher says with a tone of recognition upon hearing Daybell's name. "I was the one that actually took the call." He tells the dispatcher he's asking for the police report. "So why is someone from Arizona wanting to know?" the dispatcher asks. "That's crazy." "Yeah, isn't it funny how everything ties together?" the detective answers. "We just have some cases down here that got our attention with Miss Daybell." The cases the detective is talking about could include the early October shooting aimed at a relative of Lori Vallow Daybell in Gilbert. The family member has said he believes the shooting had to do with religious beliefs shared by Lori and some of her family members. The detective also could have been referring to the July shooting death of Lori's late husband, Charles Vallow, in nearby Chandler, Arizona. At the time of Tammy's death, the Fremont County Sheriff's Office responded to investigate. Sheriff Len Humphreys said the coroner had ruled the death as being from natural causes. He indicated their deputies didn't find anything suspicious, criminal, or out of the ordinary in their investigation. The dispatcher who spoke with Gilbert, Arizona detective, after Tammy's death, explained how it wasn't just the coroner who didn't want to press the investigation any further. The family did not want an autopsy, so they went straight to the funeral home, and the family refused an autopsy, she tells the detective. The detective clarifies that piece of information with the dispatcher. The family said they didn't want an autopsy, therefore the coroner just signed it off then and there, he asks, and then the funeral home took Miss Daybell. Is that how it works? Yes, the dispatcher responds. That's pretty much how it works. A family refusing an autopsy isn't necessarily an uncommon occurrence, according to retired Unified Police Department Deputy Chief Chris Bertram. There's a lot of personal beliefs why someone may not want it, he explained. He cited reasons like religious beliefs or not wanting to disturb the deceased loved one. On the other side, it might be a red flag that they are concealing something. No matter the family's wishes, Bertram indicated that it's unusual for a coroner not to do an autopsy if someone fairly young with no major medical issues passes away suddenly, like Tammy did in October. He pointed out that the public doesn't know what the family said to the coroner that may have relieved any suspicions over her death. Still, if the death is unattended and there aren't any obvious reasons why it happened, he said, a thorough investigation needs to take place every time. There's a high probability there will be an autopsy whether the family wants it or not, he said. We've got to find a way to determine how they passed away. The Fremont County Sheriff's Office now considers Tammy's death suspicious. Her body was exhumed from a cemetery in Springville, Utah in December. Fremont County and the FBI served a search warrant on the Daybell home in January. Her autopsy results haven't been released. So I already thought that everything was suspicious, but we do know that Lori Vallow is part of Latter-day Saints, so I don't know what their particular beliefs are, but no matter what, considering the circumstances, even if her beliefs, quote unquote, are what is in the way of getting an autopsy, it just seems a little too simple to put it that way. I don't know. This is suspicious as hell. Like I said in my prior video, I'm sure there's legalities that prevent the parents from being detained, but at this point, it's just so blatantly obvious that something's up. And I'm not saying that they murdered their children, though I think they did. There's obviously something up, and to me, it almost seems like Vallow and Daybell are somewhat taunting the police, because to just leave and go to Hawaii when you want to be forgotten or when you don't want to be watched, when you very well know you're being watched, when you very well know the police is looking at you, when you know even your self-storage unit place is kind of like, what the fuck is up with these people? I don't understand how any of this is playing out. And we also have to remember that in both Vallow and Daybell's past, there has been a lot of suspicious deaths. So that too does not make me feel good about the children. I just have a really bad feeling. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let me know what you think is happening here. Do you think they're hiding their children? Do you think they murdered them? Let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always, and let's get right into the fan art.